Welcome to the video, everybody. Today I'm going to be reviewing my first set of COPIC markers. So I went and I picked up this grayscale set of COPIC markers at Michael's today. So the set that I purchased came with 5 neutral grays, so N0, N2, N4, N6, and N8, as well as a 0.5 COPIC multi-liner ink pen. Off the bat, I do want to shout out to my neutral gray number 8. It actually came dead in the box. I think it was open while on the shelf and the cap was off and both ends of it are dead, so kind of trying to get some life back into it, but I could not manage to. There are ways you can get them to start working. We can test that theory and see if that's something that works. So all Copics are dual tipped. So one of the biggest difference I noticed is that the tip of the marker, the nub is more of like a rubber or a sponge. It's not really, it doesn't feel like a felt tip. So it did not seem to have a tendency to fray or to have hairs come out, which can sometimes mess up the lines that you make. Which I'm very pleased about, and I was really trying hard to kind of fray it and to mess it up and to, scrub it on the paper and to see if I can get any of those flaws to come out that I know happens with Tombows pretty frequently and happens with a lot of other common brush pens. But these did hold up very well. The tips were very strong, held a lot of ink. And then here's where I'm doing my swatch. Unfortunately, I only had 4 colors to swatch without my N8, but that's fine because to me the N6 did seem a lot darker than I expected it to be. It does seem like the inks come out darker than the color indicates on the cap of the pen. The N6 on paper looks like it actually matches the cap of the N8. As a traditional artist, I'm very used to working in the grayscale, and in the traditional art sphere, the grayscale has numbers 0 through 10, 10 being complete black and 0 being white, with 5 being a completely neutral gray. It did not seem these pens were following that same color guide. It seemed like the numbers were really just to indicate light versus dark values and not true to the grayscale that traditional artists as myself are used to. But that was fine. It's really not a big deal. I just thought it would have been a nice little nudge to the traditional art community. So the name of the game with alcohol pens, or really trying out any new kind of media for the first time, is to really just experiment and understand how the media behaves. So here you can see me really just trying to work on blending and trying to understand how it blends. Will it blend naturally, or do I have to blend it quickly before the first color dries? Just playing around, trying to understand how it works. And I was pretty pleased with it. I don't think I've got it perfectly down yet, but I am super satisfied with what I'm seeing so far. And then I kind of just went through a series of tests just to really better understand the medium before I got into really doing any serious sketches here. So the tree, I tested what's the best time to put down ink, before or after the marker. So in the tree, I drew the tree first with the multi-liner and then went over top of it with the COPIC markers. And then with that little tent thing, I really just kind of put down some color first, just trying to blend it out, and then went over top with the liner. To be honest, I don't see too much of an issue. The multi-liner didn't seem to bleed in either test. It didn't seem like too much of an issue, which I was very happily surprised with. In the future, though, it did seem easier to put the inks down, the ink liner down before the color. I just thought the tree was a little bit easier for me to navigate in that sense. We're getting into a color study. As part of Inktober, one of the prompts is camera. So here I'm just doing a quick little sketch of a Polaroid camera just to see when doing a more geometric shape, how my edge work holds up. Am I able to keep a solid, clean edge, or do the two colors kind of bleed into each other? And honestly, they did seem to bleed into each other, which is okay, because that's maybe, perfect edge work is not what Copics are for. I see a lot of beautiful blending work done with Copics, and so I believe I was just pushing the Copics beyond their intended use in this sketch. But it was fine. I did have actually a pretty fun time being able to color in and not worrying about streaks in my sketch, or just being able to put some color down and just enjoy the feel of the Copic marker. I did really enjoy it, even though it didn't turn out how I wanted it to. And then for my last test here, I did try sketching a character that would require more of a blending technique rather than a very rigid edge work, color within the lines kind of vibe. I actually do really like the way the Copics looked without the liner. I'm kind of torn if that was a good idea or not. I loved the way the Copics were blending for the hair on this character. Overall, I was really excited about these markers after doing this drawing. It made me really excited to push them further and get more comfortable with it and see what other kind of cool stuff I can make. I hope that my thoughts were digestible enough for you to make your own decision.